Hello, my name is Lana. Today I'm going to do this YouTube video to talk to you about how silicone reacts once it's implanted inside the body with the immune system. This is my dog Emo and my lovely assistant Brianna. Okay, Brianna, could you hold up the board, please? Okay. This is basically the outline of your immune system, the way the lymphocytes run through the body. They're in your knees, your groin area, your intestinal tract, the armpit areas up through the chest, back of the throat, neck, through your arms. What happens when you put silicone into the body through a silicone implanted medical device? You can either do it through a silicone implant, say in the calf, IUD, silicone Mirena IUD, Noraplant, breast implants. Pacemakers are made of titanium, but they have silicone tubing that goes down into the heart. They actually make silicone lip implants, silicone chin implants, cheek implants, lots of different things used in the medical field today that are implanted into the body that contain silicone. What happens when silicone sees the implant in the body? The immune system is created with all these different cells. The B cell sees the silicone and tags it. The T cell comes in. Once the T cell comes in, it begins to launch an attack against the implant because it considers it a foreign body inside the body. So that the C cells, the macrophage cells, the killer K cells come in, go ahead Brianna, and begin to place antibodies around the implants. Tagging the implants, first the B cell tags it, the T cell comes in with the C and the macrophage and the K cells and creates the antibody response around the implants. The antibody response continues until it's completely encased the implant with a scar tissue, a capsule if you will, to protect the body from the implant. Then from that day forward, the memory cell always and forever will remember the silicone when it comes into the body, and it will again in return respond in the same response. The B cell will see it, the T cell will come after it, or the memory cell sets off the secondary response. And then the other cells come into play to begin to work to try to grab a hold of that new incoming silicone and destroy it. But what's happening is because they are placing silicone, silicate, silicone, simethicone in all of the medications and all of the foods, when after a person has an implant and it's been encased and walled off by the immune system should be able to rest. The T cell stops producing lymphocytes in order to try to get the silicone, and everything calms back down. But because they're putting the silicone, silicate, silicone in the medications and in the foods, Brianna, when they do that, it sets off a secondary response. Say if the silicone comes in through medication or through foods, like your fast foods. You know, the majority of the fast foods on the market today contains 2% silicon, silicate, silicone, dimethylpolysiloxane, and nearly, I'd say the major majority of all medications also contain silicon, silicate, silicone of some form. But when it comes into the body through either the foods, and if you're highly symptomatic, it can also start reacting to the natural silicon and silicone in natural fruits and vegetables. So the first thing that happens when you begin to eat it, it begins to light up the gastrointestinal tract, the immune system there. When you continue to ingest it, Brianna, or when you ingest it through medications, it begins to light up more and more of the lymphocytes spread throughout the body in an inflammatory response. It starts with inflammation in the gastrointestinal tract, then moves into inflammation of the muscles and joints, going on into inflammations of the lungs, inflammation of the bladder, and it spreads as an inflammatory reaction all throughout the body, creating like-type syndromes. Say, for example, muscle and joint swelling, it's arthritic-type syndromes. Gastrointestinal tract swelling, they consider irritable bowel syndrome, upper GI tract problems. With breathing difficulties, they begin diagnosing them as asthma. And what it really is, it's an inflammation of the immune system, of the lymphocytes that spread all throughout our body. Okay, we'll go one more. That's the last one. Okay, so this is what happens when the immune system sees silicone the second time, through either medications or through foods. And like I said, if you become symptomatic enough of your immune system is inflamed from introducing the medications and the foods, pretty soon you become sensitive to natural forms of silicone as well. Okay, Brianna, I'll put this aside. Can you show me some of those studies? What we have here, first I want to mention, right here on the bottom of this is my website, a link to my website, siliconehypersensitivity.com. It's on Google. On my website, I've made available several research studies. First of all, what you're going to see is a silicone hypersensitivity test result that was done on myself through Dr. Shanklin and Smalley, and it showed that there is a marked T-cell stimulation when my body sees silicone, or silicate through medications or food. I'm not alone in this. When this test was done, my 2 sons were also tested. They tested positive. Our doctor tested 25 other children who all tested positive. All of those children were born to women of implants. So what happened in my case of my sons is when my body created the lymphocyte to fight against the silicone, that lymphocyte was passed in utero to my children. So their immune system now has a T-cell lymphocyte that is stimulated when silicone goes into their body through medications and foods as well. Okay, this is what, let me have a couple of those. These are the blood labs that were done after I was put in the hospital last year having an anaphylactic reaction to a silicone in the nebulizer treatment that I had been given. After 3 days of being in the hospital, I was given silicone for 3 solid days through several different types of medications. And during that time, this is what happened to my blood work. Before I knew it, they were in my room giving me shots of insulin and telling me that my liver and my kidneys were failing. I was rapidly growing sicker and sicker by the day. Once the doctors figured out that they had accidentally been giving me silicone in all my medications, they stopped it. I was sent home with a very large prescription for prednisone and several other different medications to try to fight the allergic reaction response I was having. All of these forms are available on my website. All these documentations for you to go in and review at your leisure. You can read them closer. Anyway, so we have here
Discharge summary.
The discharge summary from the hospital that actually shows the silicone allergy, the silicone hypersensitivity, in case you're still not believing me. And I'm going to let my assistant tell you about some of the different studies. Wait, what did you know?
These 3 are the effect on children.
Okay, these 3 studies that she's handing me now are studies that have been done on the secondary effect of silicone breast implants on the unborn children. So children born to women of implants are having medical problems. Not all of them, but there is a large number of them that are, as I mentioned before. 25 children tested positive from our rheumatoid arthritis doctor's office, rheumatologist's office. So there is a reason to be doing studies to find out how to prevent the kids from getting sick and having symptoms from their mothers having implants. On my website, there's a copy of my story that tells you what happened to me, what happened to my children, exactly what our medical conditions were, what our symptoms were, and how I treated it, and how I was able to get the kids well, and I was able to get myself well for a period of probably about 8 years, until I accidentally last year got into silicone, like I said, through being put through the hospital, and through a medication that was not listed on the ingredients. Okay, we have...
This is a study done on women with implants showing it stimulates the immune system.
Okay. I'm going to let my granddaughter, she's going to say it for me, and I'll just show you a copy of it.
This is 3 pathologists from...
This is Dr. Shanklin, Dr. Smalley.
This is 3 pathologists from the Department of Pathology in Sunnybrook Health Science Center in Toronto, Ontario, California.
Okay. There's another study done by?
This is a study done by 5 pathologist about silicone-induced illnesses. This one is a report done about T-cell reactions to ear implants.
To cochlear ear implants, there was an immune system response, a silicone hypersensitivity allergic reaction to a cochlear implant. And there have been several of those reports made over the years, several cases reported, and a lot of those are available on my website as well.
This is a study done on food safety.
This is one of the outlines of the studies done, where on safety of putting silicone, studies on safety of putting silicone in our foods and medications. In this particular one, they say that the silicone in the foods should fall under the exempt category under generally recognized as safe. To the FDA, silicone is generally recognized as safe. So they feel there's really very, very little need to do any research on putting the silicon dioxide, silicate silicone in any shape, in any form, into our medications, which go directly into all of our bloodstream, and into our foods, which go directly into our digestive tract. This is also available on my website. This is a copy of a menu for one example of KFC. If you see the highlighted yellow, the things that are highlighted in yellow are silicate, silicon dioxide, and dimethylpolysiloxylane. This is a list of their menu ingredients. So as you can see, silicon, silicate, and silicone used in our food is done quite sparsely. And this is like, you'll find this on almost all the websites. If you go in and look at their list of menu ingredients, and you'll find the same thing at McDonald's, for example. So they need to take the silicon out of our medications, the silicon, silicate, silicone, dimethylpolysiloxylane, dimethicone, and simethicone. They need to take it out of our foods and out of our medications. This is ruining people's health. It's destroying healthcare in this country as we know it. Something needs to be done. FDA, I'm putting you on blast. We have at least 25 doctors here who have done research studies that more than show there is a T-cell immune system response in relation to putting silicone inside the body. Removing the implant in itself will not remove the antibody that the body creates to destroy silicone. Okay, pause it.